Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to replace the pads on your DDJ-SZ or RZ, whether it's Serato or record box version. It's the same controller, pretty much. It's just the software that it works with. So all the parts, I believe, are exactly the same. And so yeah, I'm just going to quickly show you how to replace, if you need to replace them for any reason, if they've got damaged or any other reason. Yeah, this is how you do it. So you'll see here, I've got the DDJ-SZ and it's looking a little bit, it looks good for its age, all things considered, but things are starting to look a little bit worn. So you can see here that my my loop button has completely worn off, and these buttons here have also worn a little bit, and my filter button here, obviously that's the one that gets the most use out of all of these, so that's all worn off as well. The rest of it, I mean, the plates, they look a little bit scuffed, but to be honest, for the price it costs to replace those, I'm just going to leave them as they are. But the pads, as you can see here, mine are looking a little bit yellow. You can see it better when I show you the new ones next to them, so you can see here just how different that colour is. Yeah, it's really obvious that they're yellowed. And it just kind of lets the deck down a little bit because everything else has kept its colour, apart from obviously these being worn. I have ordered replacement ones of these, and here as well. So I've ordered, so this is one panel of buttons. So I've ordered 2 of those to replace these 2 panels here. And then this button is actually a 2-button part. So these 2 buttons here are the same part. So I've ordered that as well, but they're on back order at the moment. So they won't arrive for the next 6 to 8 weeks, apparently. Luckily, the place I ordered from, even though I ordered all the parts I needed in one order, they did send these out because they had them in stock, which is good. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work and replace these pads. So the first thing you need to do is turn the decks over, like so. So basically you need to remove all of the screws on the back, so everywhere you can see a hole, you need to remove that screw. So I think there are 4, 8, 12, 16 screws in total. I think that's all of them. So yeah, I'm just going to get to work and remove all of those. All right, so that's all of them removed. Now the 4 in the middle, just going to mention this now. These 4 in the middle are actually different to the ones that go all the way around the edge. You'll see here, so this is the one for the middle and this is the one for the edge. So they are different screws. Just make sure you don't put a middle screw in the edge when you put them back in. Just keep them separate as you take them out. Now, as you lift the lid or the back plate, there is a cable just here, you'll see, is connected to the main board underneath. Actually, I'll show you. So yeah, just make sure as you lift it out, you don't pull it too far, maybe lift it about this much, and you'll see this cable here, which is connected from that side there. It goes underneath and then it connects to the board in here. So you want to unplug that the white plug just there, and just unthread those cables from the little plastic clip as well, just to make sure it doesn't get caught. So I'll just do that right now. So once you've unplugged that cable, the thing will lift all the way off and you can just take it like that. All right, so here's the inner workings of the DDJ-SZ. Now, to get to the pads themselves, you're going to have to take out some more screws. Yours may look a little tidier than mine, just because I think this was, when I purchased this, it was purchased as refurbished as well. So one thing that I did miss, there are 2 screws here, which you can access from this side here. You're going to have to take those out. Those were missing on mine, so I didn't have to unscrew them to take the back plate off. But yeah, you're going to have to take those out just in there as well before you lift the back plate off. Okay, so the pads themselves are underneath this board here and this board here. So you're going to have to take the ribbon cables off the board first, and then you're going to have to unscrew the screws. So, and also anywhere where there's a white plug that plugs into that board. So I'm just going to quickly undo all of those. So for the plugs, you just pull them straight up. Just be careful that you don't pull the wires themselves out of the white connector. Just be very careful as you pull that out, because it could cause more damage, which would not be fun. And then the ribbon cables, you just pull these straight upwards. But before you do that, you're probably going to want to take them out of the little plastic protectors there, so that you can actually lift them out without damaging them. So to take some of these white plastic, sorry, the clear plastic protectors, you might have to take some of the screws off as well. So that's lifted this piece of plastic up, which means I can now fully maneuver this ribbon cable. So now that's free. So to take the ribbon cable out, you literally just grab it as close to the board as you can and lift it straight up, and then it just comes out. Here's another plastic, clear plastic piece here. So it's just held in with like a little tab. Just flick that out, and then the ribbon cable comes free. Again, just put your fingers as close to that ribbon cable where it joins the board as you can, and just pull it straight up. Maybe you have to wiggle it slightly. Just be firm and it will come off. Let's move those out of the way. And then there's a blue ribbon cable just here. I'll just move this out of the way. So yeah, this blue ribbon cable, just pull that straight upwards. That just pops out like that. So now I'm going to take this other screw out of this plastic protector. And there's another one just here. So I'll take that one out as well. It's a good idea just to keep your screws on a table sort of in the positions they came out. Those 3 screws that I just removed for the plastic, they're all the same size anyway, so it doesn't matter if you get them mixed up. So I've just kept them in like one little pile. So now, oh, there's one more ribbon cable here that I've not taken out, so let's just do that one. Just be very careful with the ribbon cables that you don't bend them. So with this one, I'm just going to put my finger under it there and then lift it so that my finger is as close to where it connects to the board as it can be, and then I pull up. Because these ribbon cables, they are quite thick ribbon cables, but if you damage those, then yeah, you're going to have to order replacements. Once they're damaged, they're pretty much damaged forever. You can repair them with like pieces of copper wire or whatever, but it's just a massive pain. It's probably better if you do damage it just to replace the piece. So now I'm just going to remove these remaining silver screws on this board. So there's now that I've removed the ones that held the clear plastic, there's 1, 2, 3, yeah, just 3 more here. So I'm just going to take those remaining 3 off. So they were all the same size screw, and now they're all taken off. So this board should just lift off like that. So there's the board. That's removed. So I'll just put that to one side. And now we're going to have to take this metal plate off. So there's just 2 screws left to take this metal plate off. So I'll just take those off now. Okay, so they were the same size as all the other screws that I removed. And now I will be able to lift this plate up. So just be careful that you don't damage there's 2 little black plastic guiding pieces for this. So just make sure you're very careful when you lift this up, that you pull it straight up, so that those black tabs, they don't snap. Okay, so that's lifted all the way up now. So there's the metal plate with the sensors for the buttons, the rubber buttons, pads. All right, so now that metal plate's been removed, we're just gonna, so there's one last step, just to take the rubber pads off. You literally just lift them up. So they're held on like they're supported by all these little black plastic tabs. So again, just be careful as you lift the rubber up that you don't get it caught on any of these tabs. Just try and lift it as vertically upwards as you can, and they'll just come out like so. So it's pretty obvious now that these are out, that they are very yellow. Let's just compare them against the others. Yeah, they are gross. So the part you're going to need is a DEB-2005. So there's the brand spanking new ones versus the horrible yellow ones. So now to put it back in, we're just going to do the whole process again in reverse. So make sure you lift everything out of the way, guide it onto the pegs. Make sure all of those pegs are properly, make sure it's properly seated and that the pegs have all gone through. So that's that part done. And now we're just going to put the plate back on. Just make sure that when you put the plate back on, it goes on the right way. So this blue ribbon cable needs to be on the left. Just make sure it's properly seated, it doesn't wobble around. Okay, so now that we've put the metal plate back on, we need to put the screws in, the only screws in that we took out for this metal plate when the metal plate was the only thing left, which are the top right and the top left. The reason for this is because the bottom left and the middle screw, they both require the membrane to be over the top, and the bottom right screw is used for the PCB as well. So we're going to just put in the top right and the top left. Okay, so now those are in, we're going to put the PCB back on there. And we can see here now, once we put this membrane over, there are 1, 2, 3 holes remaining that go into the metal plate. And then there's 1, 2, top left, top right for the PCB as well. So I'm just going to put those screws in. Okay, so now that those are in, let's just reconnect all of the ribbon cables. So we'll start at the top here because that's the last one that we took out. So just align it and push it straight in. And then we'll go for this small blue one over here because this is going to be covered by the other 2 thicker ones. And then we'll push this one in here. And finally, the bottom one. And then we'll just plug this plug in here. And that's it. So now we're just going to thread these back through the membranes that they were originally in. So just clip that plastic one down there. And then we're going to, I've made a boo-boo here. So I'm just going to unplug this one and thread it underneath this black earth cable here. Plug that back in. Like so. And then I just want to flick over this plastic membrane here, put it back over the top, and then there was the final screw there that holds that plastic down. So that's one side done. Let's move over to the other side. So again, we're just going to do the ribbon cables first. So let's do this blue one over here. And then the small one at the top left. And then the grey white plastic plug, grey wires, white plastic plug. These are really hard to get out, so just be careful as you just wiggle it slightly just to ease it out, because you don't want to pull the wires out of the plug. That'll be very bad. Let's push that down there so it's out of the way. And then we'll take this ribbon cable out, pull it straight up, and this ribbon cable here. Okay, so that's those. I'm just going to undo this tab here, just flick this out. And then move these out of the way. I'm just going to use my old pads from the other side just to hold these down over here. Okay, so again, we're just going to undo all of the plastic, all of the screws that hold down the plastic membrane first. So the one in the middle, bottom right. Is that all of them? Yep. Oh, and top right. So they're going to be the last screws that we put in on this side. Just move this membrane out of the way. Okay, so now everything's unplugged off this board, so I'm going to take the remaining screws out that hold the PCB, which is bottom left and top left. That's those. And now I'm just going to lift the PCB up again, like I did on the previous one, like so. And then that leaves just two screws left on the metal plate, top right and top left. Okay, so then those are off. So now let's lift this plate straight up. Like so. And now just take the rubber pads off. So there's those versus the new ones again. So now let's put these ones in. Make sure they're on all of the guiding pegs. So that's those back in, and now metal plate. Make sure it's seated properly. And then it was the top left and the top right screw. And then the PCB, just move the ribbon cables out of the way, let it fall straight down onto the guiding pegs. And then it was the top left and bottom left screws that held this in. Okay. Okay, so now let's just put the plastic sheet back over there and screw those final screws in, the middle, bottom right and top right. And now let's just plug in the ribbon cables. So let's do the top left one, the side left blue, and then let's get these back over here. So just remember that some of these will go underneath other cables. So this black ground cable, we want to thread that under there. And then we want to put this plastic sheet over it and clip it in. And then just plug this in here. And then just tuck this behind the plastic here. Hold it in place. And then this ribbon cable here, I'm just going to tuck that under there first, plug it in, and that's it, job done. Okay, so now I'm going to put the back plate back on and we'll have a final look. Okay, so that's on, and now let's just put all of the black screws back in the holes. So again, remember the middle 4, they are the shorter screws. And then all of the outside ones are the longer screws. All right, so that's the back plate back on. Now let's turn it over and see our results. Beautiful. Look at those. Amazing. Love that. What a difference, eh? So much better. Right, so that's how it's done. I hope that was useful, and yeah, if you have any questions or anything, just drop a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Awesome. Good luck and enjoy.